3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Welcome to episode 191 of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks. Are you sure? What's 191?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
I can't do much, but I can count. You know, even when I get past my 10 fingers, 10 toes, I can get that high sometimes. I just got to do it over and over again.
Okay, I'm just saying. I thought it was 191 last week.
It was 190 last week.
Okay, I'll check.
Well, see, and there's reasons why she's confused because this weekend has been a whirlwind.
Yeah, we were very, very busy this weekend. We had the opportunity to go to a marriage retreat. We left Thursday, and it was Thursday and Friday. We came back Saturday, and I had a ton of homework to do. So I pulled an all-nighter just about, and then even last night, almost, you know how when you're so focused and you're doing I did a whole assignment. And then when I was getting ready to put it all together, not put it together, but like submit it, something told me reread what you are supposed to do. And I had done it wrong. Oh God, my heart almost stopped. And I was devastated, but I was like, nope, I'm finna do this. I got to get it. And so I did it. Go Rana.
Go Ron.
Go Snooks.
Well, see, that's a lot like marriage. I mean, how many times have we actually been in a situation where, I want to say a situation, we've been in our marriages and we think we're doing it right. Look, right now, the popular phrase is, I understood the assignment. There's all kinds of things on social media about that. Well, how many times has the husband or the wife, felt like I understood the assignment and then we get that notice? Nope.
The assignment.
That was not the assignment. You goofed. You did it wrong. Start over. Well, what we want to do today is bring you a special guest that is getting the assignment right. This, as you know, we like to bring you these interesting couples from all over the world, and I think that today we have a really special couple with us, and I think there's a lot of you out there that are going to learn a few things. You're going to learn something today. Let's put it like that. So today, all the way from Virginia, on the other side of the nation, we have Jay and Laine Hall with us. How are you two doing?
Doing all right. Thanks for having us. How are y'all doing tonight?
We're good. And
okay, wait. Laine, you have to say something too.
Oh, we're good. How are you?
Yeah, that's so funny. See, this is going to be one of those times where you got like Snooks and I, where we have a tendency to I like to talk a lot. Sometimes she'll fade into it and I have to kind of like pull her back in towards the mic.
See, it's not really me fading if he's doing all the talking, right? There.
Oh, no. You're going to make me sneeze.
I'm just saying.
I'm allergic to you doing that.
Whatever.
No, so what we want to do is let me give some background real quick for all those of you that don't know who Jay and Laine Hall are. Some of you out there, I'm curious how many may know Jay by his other persona. He is also known as Gizmo in the pickleball world. And you're saying to yourself, well, what's pickleball? Ask your kids. I guarantee your kids will tell you what pickleball is. And not only is Gizmo a pickleball player, a professional pickleball player, he is a U.S. Open champion when it comes to pickleball.
That's amazing.
And so often there are people out there in the world that, that have these titles and they're out front and they're doing things. And I think the world forgets that they can't do what they do unless they've got a strong team around them. And Laine is that team that allows people to know the persona of Gizmo.
If you guys are not watching it on YouTube, she's like, yup. Mm-hmm.
I'll agree.
She's like, yup. Mm-hmm.
No, so I want to learn a lot about you two and your love story. First and foremost, How did you two meet?
I'll let you tell a story. I'll let you start.
So I used to be a volunteer firefighter, and I used to teach recruit classes for all the new recruits coming in. Teach all the basic classes, how to throw ladders, how to, where everything was around the firehouse. And she was actually one of my recruits, and I didn't hit on her during the recruit class.
He was like, "Here's the ladder, honey. Let me help you up that ladder."
But maybe shortly after. But she told me no for 4 years, and persistence pays off. And finally she came around to her senses, and the rest, as they say, is history. Let the good times roll, right?
Wow. 4 years.
And here we are now, 7 years later. So.
Wow. So how long have you been married?
3 years.
It'll be 4 in October. I had to think about that for a minute.
Yeah. So, not too long, but,
Yeah, like literally.
Not yesterday.
Literally for off and on for 4 years, he would ask me out to the movies or, ask me to help him with something. And I'm just like, well, gonna have to call you back kind of thing.
I'm busy. Busy doing what?
I just
I'm busy.
And so, yeah. And then finally I was just like, all right, let's do this. And here we are.
That's awesome. So it sounds like y'all was lighting fires, getting hot up in the firehouse.
You gotta light them and in order to put them out, you gotta know how to light them. Let's just say that.
I like that.
Wow. So 4 years though? I mean, what was it like? You were just like, I'm cool. I just want to do me.
Well, so Jay kind of had a reputation about himself. And I knew that. So I was an EMT, and the women that, volunteered there, like, we were all kind of a hot commodity, for lack of a better term. And so so I was just like, no, like, you are not ready for this. Like, I've heard so much about you.
It was all false.
And then, finally I was just like, because we were friends on Facebook, and like we'd run duty and stuff like that together. But then like he randomly just messaged me, and we just started talking, like actually having real conversation. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah, he's not so bad of a guy.
A lot had changed in 4 years. He grew up a little bit.
Well, most institutions of higher learning go in spans of 4 years.
Wow, I like that.
So when it came to that, he can't handle this over here.
I was about to say, I love that. You are not ready for this. So go mature a little bit more, season, and then come back and see me.
I said, bro, you need to go get a little educated. Let's get you on that 4-year degree plan.
I love
it. That's cool, though.
And here we are, 7 years, I don't know, 4 houses later.
Yeah.
Like I said, we didn't just start yesterday.
And then and we are like personality wise and like background wise, we're so different. And so like when people that we knew from the firehouse actually like found out we were together, everybody was like shocked. And then like, again, here we are 7 years later, married. Like it was kind of surprising for a lot of people, because we really couldn't be more different in some ways. So
I saw it coming day one. You know what I'm saying? I was, but apparently I just had to wait. I wasn't ready.
It was like he ain't ready. So let me ask you this. Okay, so you recognize that there was some differences, right, when it comes to your communication styles or how you guys are. You were talking personalities. How did you bridge that gap over the course of those 4 years and determining like, okay, we're going to talk to each other, but more importantly, when you guys decided to come together, become an item, how are you managing those personality differences?
We don't.
I saw that look like, why is he asking me this question?
That's a fantastic question. I don't.
Yeah, I am me. I'm setting my ways. She is her, and yeah, I don't know. We do the best we can.
but I mean, and it's one of those things. It's not like butting heads or like tension or anything like that. It's just, I mean, even when he was working at the firehouse, like our lives are so different in a way, because he would do shift work. He would work 24-hour shift and then be off for 48 hours. I had a 9 to 6, 9 to 5, corporate. I still do have a corporate 9 to 5 job. And so we had our time apart, but we always have our time together too. But like, it's never the typical, oh, hey, it's the weekend, let's go to the movies or let's go do this. It's like, we get our time in when we could, basically. And I think that's helped a lot too, because like, he can kind of go do his own thing. And if he wanted to go fish or go do this, or then he started playing pickleball, like it just, it worked out, because like, in some ways our lives really are so different in the past that we're going, but then we come back together.
Bingo.
Well, that's interesting to me, because it sounds as if when you're talking about the time when you're in the firehouse, you said, you basically, you get in where you fit in and you made it work. But it almost sounds as if that's what you're doing now as well with their personalities. It's like, Jay said, I am who I am, I'm setting my ways, and she is who she is, and we find a way to make it work. And I think that's kind of beautiful, because so often people are so intent on changing each other. I need you to be more this, and da 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 da. She's laughing because I'm like, oh, somebody was trying to change somebody. No. But I think that it's great that you two are finding each other. You're getting in where you fit in with your relationship, and you're finding ways to make it work. And I think that's beautiful. Kudos to you.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a like by the book type person, because quite honestly, I'm not sure who wrote the book and what that person was thinking when they wrote the book. So I'm more of like a who defines what normal is, and just kind of, I mean, if you like it, I love it type person. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it is what it is. We're gonna make it do what it do, and yeah, we're gonna figure it out. Point blank. Period.
That's awesome.
Okay, so how did you get started into pickleball?
So I was a firefighter in Virginia, and I was at the gym. They want us to work out every shift for an hour, so we went to the gym. And I was in the gym shooting around basketball, and I hear this sound, and it sounded like table tennis or something. So I like look on the other side of the gym, and there's like 3 nets set up, a bleacher full of we'll say 70 plus people to be generous. And it looked like mini tennis, and I don't come from a tennis background, so I was like, what in the world is this? These 2 70-year-old ladies come up to me, and they say, this is pickleball. Would you like to learn how to play it? And I was just like, you know what? Y'all look like y'all having a good time. I don't want to interrupt. I'll just, I'll sit back and watch. So I'm off work for the next 2 days. I go back to work. I go back to the gym, and I'm shooting around again in the gym, and I hear the same sound again. So I peek around the same curtain again, and the same 2 ladies come up to me.
Got him.
And say, you don't get to look twice without at least trying it once. Like, she grabbed me by my hand, put a paddle in my hand, and said, let me show you the rules of pickleball. And 6 months later, I ended up quitting my job at the fire department to chase this crazy dream to become a professional pickleball player.
So he comes home. So he gets off shift. I come home from work, and he's like geeked out on YouTube watching pickleball. And I'm like, what are you watching? Like, what is this? And he's like talking to me about it. And I think you were what, 30?
31.
He was like 30, 31 at the time. So, and we're 6 years apart. I'm 6 years older, but like, he's talking to me about this sport. And on YouTube, it's like these older people, and he's talking to me about these 2 70-something-year-old ladies. And I'm just like, sir, you have no business playing any sport with some 70-year-old something. You're going to break somebody's hip. Like, flat out. Like, what are you doing? And so he kept watching it, and the kids and I were just kind of like, okay, buddy. And then he ordered a paddle, and I'm like, okay. And then he was playing, he'd go up on his days off and, and then he ordered another paddle and he ordered me a paddle. Well, the problem was they play at like 10 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that. Most people who have a corporate job cannot play during that time. Mm-hmm. So it was a good 4 months until I was able to actually try it because my office is closed between Christmas and New Year. So I was home. So I was like, let's go up there and check this out. And so I got to see it firsthand and I was like, okay. But like at that point, he was already obsessed, to put it mildly.
Yeah. I mean, to quit my career of working 8 days a month to chase this dream of becoming a professional pickleball player. I mean, that's obsessed is a little mild.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to quit the job and run with it like that?
A government job with like pension, with benefits, like what most people like strive for. He was just like,
yeah, I'm good on that.
I mean, he had booked this trip. They shifted his schedule. They're like, you can't go on this trip. And but he had already paid for the airfare, he paid for the lodging, like he had partners lined up. I mean, these tournaments aren't cheap. And he was going to Texas, and Texas is not a cheap place to go to. And what did you say?
I was like, yo, if I go to the Texas Open, when I come back, I will not have a job.
And I was like,
I'll see you when you get back.
Yep. And honestly, we got married less than a month after that. Like literally, I mean, we went and got married. And because, I mean, we had talked about it, like we were going that direction, but I was like, you need insurance, like benefits for grownups. And so we did it. And that was that.
Yeah. I mean, plus, I already know, like, I can't work for, I'm the type of person, I cannot work for anybody. Like, I mean, I've seen it firsthand where, like, I ended up having to miss my daughter's first day of kindergarten. Like, but yet, upper management is like, oh, they're, third removed twice from the family, baby mama, sister, cousin, Tracy, just so happened to be in town and they forgot it. But yet,
and they called out sick.
You know what I'm saying? But that's okay. And I'm just like, man, like, these people, they'll make time to be able to do what they want to do, like, but not let me, even just take an hour to go take my daughter to school for the first day of kindergarten. I'm like, yo, like, if people are like that, like, those aren't my people. And like, I can't be around them type of people. So like, I made the conscious decision to just effectively remove myself from the workforce and not chase money and just chase purpose. And, again, I helped a lot of people in the back of the fire truck. I worked in the ER for 4 years, volunteer and career side of the EMS, as a paramedic. I mean, 10 plus years. I know I helped a lot of people, but by me being able to, take pickleball as a sport to, all these different destinations and, teach it at the schools, teach it in the juvenile detention centers, teach it in the adult prisons, teach it, take it to Mexico, take it, to whatever other countries I'm going to be able to take it to, like, to be potentially an outlet for people who would have never been exposed to it. Like I already know, like, my impact before I leave this earth is going to be magnified by, 1,000-fold than if I would have just stayed working 8 days a month, being
not
a yes
sleeping.
man, not being happy, doing not what I want to do. So, I just made that conscious decision and I haven't looked back since.
So we'll make it work.
That is awesome.
That's like our whole podcast. It's like, okay, y'all, we'll see you next week. Thank you.
We got life lessons galore in there.
I swear, I'm like, where's my pen at?
Hit rewind, go back, take notes, and adjust your life accordingly.
No, that's what's up. That's amazing, though. First of all, a lot of people would not probably have done that. Like you said, I'm not chasing money. I am chasing my dream. Your passion, and even how you compare it to how many people you've helped doing in the ER as a firefighter, all these, even doing your volunteering. But now here you have pickleball and you're going to teach it to children and in institutions, and, you're traveling or whatever. The effect, did I hit that? Sorry. The effect that you have, that you have on, the impact, I should say, that you have on, it's so much greater, And I'm gonna just be honest, I had never heard of pickleball ever. And Lovey's like, oh, pickleball. I was like, what is pickleball? He's like, oh, Gizmo said blah, blah. I was like, first of all, I don't even know who that is. He's talking to me like we knew each other. And then he's like, we're going to play. And I was like, I'm not playing pickleball. I don't even, I heard a racquetball. And when I saw what the paddle looked like, I was like, because that ball's going to come too fast. I'm not going to be, I'm not even doing that. But when we played, I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun, So hats off to you for just following your heart and doing that. And also to you, Lainey, when you were like, well, I guess I'll see you when you get back and, we'll handle it then. Because I probably would have had a different response. I don't know. I'm like, what you mean? You ain't going nowhere. No, but just to be able to have his back and support him like that, that's what teamwork is, and that really is the making of the woman behind the man, if that makes any sense. Good job.
The other thing that kind of, not that was an easy decision, but like the hours that he was working and like his mental health while he was doing that. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, because he wouldn't sleep, like on the medic, like he would be up almost 24 hours. And then you have to come home and like decompress. But, I still have stuff I need him to do when he's off. And like, and like looking back at where he was and like looking at pictures from then versus pictures now. And, just like overall, I feel like his mental health is in a much better place. And that's the other thing, aside from like teaching all this youth, is that he now is an outlet for so many because he talks about his mental health. Mm-hmm. And people don't want to talk about that. Mm-hmm. And so I really commend him because he has found a way to reach even more people through his platform. Mm-hmm. And getting people to talk about things that people don't want to talk about, right. And it's not an easy thing. And so for that, like, I think that's even just as important, if not more important than like getting out to the detention centers and stuff like that, because mental health is just so not talked about,
right?
For lack of a word. So
it's like it's a stigma,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And if you talk about it, then you're all eyes on me. And then if you have mental health and people are staring at you, then you're like, oh my God, that's kind of how I look at it. I know mm-hmm. people that have mental health challenges, and even Lovey points out, like, I suffer from depression, and he was like, you need to get that taken care of, or you need to have that, just to have someone else say to you that there's something, they see something that you need to. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been sad all my whole life. That's just how I am, and he's like, yeah, but I don't think that you're supposed to be like that. I was like, but this is how it has been. But like you said, just being able to not be ashamed of having mental health issues or challenges, and to say, hey, I got it. And so when you say it, then someone is like, so do I feel this way too. And that's good.
I don't know. To me, it's really important. So
one of the things that's beautiful to me is that, well, first, let me give a little background to everyone. I met Gizmo through a platform of people that were trying to be around like-minded individuals. So we met through what's called Breathe University. And as you can see, if you're watching YouTube, you can see that Jay or Giz is actually wearing a T-shirt with Eric Thomas's icon on there, his logo. So we met in this community, and you have to understand that there are thousands of people that belong to the Breathe University, and that have been touched by Breathe University and touched by Dr. Eric Thomas. And there's a lot of great leaders on there. I mean, we've got professional athletes, Grammy Award-winning artists. You've got moms, bus drivers. You've got people from every walk of life that are on there. And Gizmo stands out as a leader amongst leaders when it comes to talking about mental health. I can't tell you how many times that I've witnessed that when Giz starts talking about, really creating a platform for people to really voice, and I don't want to call them mental health challenges, just mental health in general, because let's keep it real. We all have challenges when it comes to mental health. that's what I want to say. Challenge is like, it's just this thing that stands out, aside from
Mhm.
people with perfect mental health. There is no such thing.
Mhm.
And I think Giz has really helped a lot of us recognize that there's always something we can do to be better, to try and create a better environment, because everyone's going to have those high days and everyone's going to have those low days, and it's about managing that. And I love what you do about bringing awareness to how we can actually help each other and stand in the gap for each other, but also give grace. Even on your social media, you say so much, and I tell you, I don't comment all the time, but I'm reading, I'm like, I felt that, and you've helped me on days where I probably wouldn't have been the best husband or anything else, but had
Thank
it
you
not
for
been,
that. No.
had it not been for something that you've said or shared with us. And I'm just curious, what made you decide to really create this platform to help others, deal with or manage their mental health?
Well, I mean, the thing about it, there's only a stigma around it, or it's only weird because we don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the birds and the bees talk with our kids. Like, we don't talk about it. So like us not talking about it, like, makes it weird. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The other thing is like, the amount of people that like, who I've never even met, but just follow me through pickleball or through farming or through whatever, however they know me. And they just message me out the blue, like, yo, like, man, you like you said this, and like, it really resonated with me. I'm like, dang, first of all, I didn't even know you were paying attention. Second of all, like, I'm not alone. Like, that it makes, it's just crazy. It's like, my thing is like, I try to be the person who I needed, who I never got in every situation that I encounter. So it's like, talking about mental health was weird because nobody talked about it. So my way of, it's almost like I'm fixing myself by trying to help others. So like my way of doing that is speaking up about it, speaking out about it, making it normalizing it, so that others feel more comfortable talking about it. Like, we can't begin to fix it if we don't talk about it.
That's right.
And I mean, we lose so many. We lose so many people on the daily. Absolutely. Who, I mean, me personally, I mean, I've lost. I'd say upwards of 10 people, to suicide, or more. And it's not okay. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the people who I've lost, like, didn't speak up. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't want to be stigmatized, or they didn't want. It's for whatever reason, but again, I choose to speak about it, my day-to-day battles, the goods, the bads, the indifference, because like, I can't hold it in. Like, if I hold it in, like, I won't be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, I know that about myself. So like that is my last option. Just speaking, from personal experience.
That's beautiful. And I wish that everyone, I wish more of us had that attitude. I mean, we lost our godson to suicide, because he lost his battle with depression. But people didn't talk about it enough because, he looks fine. He's laughing.
We just got to pray, We just got to pray. That was a lot of the I don't want to say the answers, but the responses, a lot of time, we'll pray about it. Of course, let's do that, but also let's put some action behind it. Let's, are we trying to get help? Are we connecting them with resources? What are we doing? So I want to say our family learned,
the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not sexy, so people don't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? People would rather, post on the gram, go post up. They see a car at the mall. Let me lean up against it, post it for, Facebook. People love to show you their highlight reels, man. But, people don't want to show you their real deal. Like, and that's my thing. Like, I tell people all the time, man, I'll show you my life. I have no cut cards about nothing. Like, I've been through real life. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of like allows me to live the life that I live. Like, I mean, I've been shot 4 times. Like, I mean, I've literally had a pistol in my face and the trigger pulled. Like, I've literally, like, been through real life and, like, almost checked out. So, like, I feel like when you've been that close to death, like, it just, automatically makes you have like just a slightly different perspective than people who may not have been in that situation. So for me, like, you know, like I'm not really like, you know, I don't go to church or anything. I'm more like, you know, spiritual than anything, but like, you know, I do believe in God. I do believe in a higher power. And I just believe it was like, you know, at that moment in my life, he was like, yo, like if I'm a, you know, I feel like I was playing a video game where like the time is counting down and I'm like scrambling, trying to find a quarter to put in to like continue to like, you know what I'm saying? Like Pac-Man, old school. And like, he was like, yo, I got this quarter in my hand, but like, if I give it to you, like you're gonna do it on my terms, not on your terms. Like your terms, this was your terms. You failed miserably, son. So like, I was like, he was like, yo, like if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it for me, and it's gonna be to help people. So like, just mentally, like the only thing that I have on my heart and in my brain is like when I meet anybody is how can I be a blessing? How can I help you? How can I be of service to you? How can I make your situation in any way, shape, or form better than it was before you met me, before you came into contact with me? I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't care what's going on in your life. I just want our interaction to be positive so that, you know, if it is your worst day, I want you to count on, you know, me being able to help you in the slightest way.
That's awesome. You know, and we're talking about mental health right now, and I just can't help but wonder, because, you know, our jam is marriage. You know, we thrive in helping other people. And I just can't help but wonder how many marriages fail because we haven't dealt with our mental health. We're carrying baggage. We're carrying so many things with us that we're just not healthy in that respect, or not moving towards health in that particular respect. And we're not able to help each other. Because a lot of marriages standing in the gap for each other.
Yeah.
You know, when one person's up, the other person's down. Okay, let me help you out. You know, and vice versa. But what if you're both down and you don't know how to help each other because you don't know how to help yourself, and the resources aren't there? So I think what you're saying is so applicable, not just to an individual, but to all the couples that are out there listening as well. That's huge.
Yeah.
I do want to touch on something though. You mentioned something in passing. I heard the farm. You mentioned the farm, and I know that there is a pickleball farm, but you also mentioned in passing that since you guys have been together, that you've moved like 4 times, 4 houses, whatever. Do you guys live on a farm right now?
Yeah. We got a 10-acre farm in Virginia. And I mean,
okay, you got to talk about that. How did you land on a farm?
Yeah. Tell that story.
Speaking on mental health, I got tired of people. I got to the point where like I didn't want to deal with people. I said, I don't want neighbors. I don't want to live next to people. I just want to, you know, do my own thing. And yeah, we ended up with a 10-acre farm.
Well, he was like, our lease was coming up to an end, and he was like, look, I want to move to the country. If you want to come with me, you're more than welcome.
Yeah. But if you don't, I'm still moving to the country.
So this is about the time we got married. And I spent my middle school and high school years in rural Missouri, like graduating class of 36. I swore I would never go back to that. Like we had to drive 2 hours to go to a shopping mall for just context. And he was like, yo, I want to move out to the country. I want at least 5 acres. And I was like, okay, I have one stipulation. So because my office is in DC. So in Virginia, there's like 2 main highways to go in DC. There's 95 and there's 66. I said, we will not do 66. That is my only caveat, my only requirement. And so we reached out to a realtor friend. I started looking, just kind of perusing. He started browsing on Zillow. She gives us the listings, and her number one listing was the number one that I found, and was his number one.
But we hadn't conferred with each other.
We hadn't even talked about it.
Nobody had told each other.
And she's like, here you go. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the one this is like my favorite one. And he's like, it's my favorite one. We have like a 2-acre pond. Like he loves to fish, like just everything about it. And so I have goosebumps actually. So we came to look at this house, and we are scheduled to look at one other. And
we came here. I was like, yo, cancel that other one. This is it. I promise you.
He got locked in the barn. He like calls me. I'm in here like looking at the kitchen and, you know, like oogling over everything. And he's already like looking at all the outbuildings and like getting stuck. So I had to go figure out how to get him out of the barn because he got himself stuck. He's like, I want to do this here. I want to do this there. Cause nobody was living here. They had already moved. It had been on the market for like 6 months. So like it being completely empty, like we were in like,
Right.
like we can do this however we want. Yeah. And that was it. So
that was 3 years ago.
that was, almost 3.5 years ago. So,
Wow.
So, but it's not just the farm. I mean, again, it's just crazy. You know, it's all started through the game of pickleball. Like we're, you know, a 501c3 nonprofit. All of the crops that we grow here at the farm, we donate to another nonprofit that goes to middle schools every Friday to give fresh produce to families in need. Like without filling out any forms, like if you feel your family can use help, like you just pull up, pop the trunk, and they'll give you fresh boxes. Like we don't need to know, like, you know, what your salary is. Like that's irrelevant. Or we take to the local food bank. We've got, you know, chickens. I mean, we've got eggs.
we get at least a dozen eggs a day.
Yeah. So, you know, we're donating eggs. We actually just put up a 16-foot by 100-foot greenhouse that we're going to be growing food and being able to extend our growing season so that we're able to donate longer into the winter and earlier into the spring.
We actually got a grant through the USDA for that. Basically, we had to fill out some paperwork, and they went through and selected us, and they basically said, you're going to get X amount of dollars per square foot. Get it, put it up, we'll reimburse you. And the only caveat is you have to have it for 4 or 5 years or something like that.
5 years.
And so, you know, we were awarded this grant kind of in the middle of COVID as the prices of everything started going way up.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, we were trying to figure out how to make this work and trying to front the money. And like, we didn't even know if we could even do it because.
Well, I mean, the grant was for, you know, maximum $7,000, and the quotes we were getting were like 16 to 20 grand with shipping for the high tunnels and then having to put them together ourselves. So like, I was like, yo, there's no way we're going to be able to do this. Like, we're just going to have to reapply next year and try to figure it out. And I came across this one website and it was just like within the price range, free shipping. And I'm just like, yo.
And they work with the people who have these grants specifically. So it's like, you only have to pay a certain amount up front, which is totally doable. And then you have like 60 days after receiving it to get it up, get it together, get inspected, get the money from them. Like, it was such a blessing because literally like we had spent so much time and we're like basically about ready to give up. And, you know, so it's 16 feet by 100. So it's 1,600 square feet. Jay did most of it. I helped a little bit, but like we managed to put it together. We didn't want to get divorced after that. So we were still speaking by the time that
barely. I mean, barely.
But we were able to get it up and we survived, and the high tunnel survived, and we got everything approved and we got everything taken care of. So, and again, with this, we can do so much more and we can help so many more people by growing more food. And it's just so surreal that like that. And it was all him. Like he found, because usually I'm the one that's like looking stuff up and he'll come up with an idea. But like, I have to say, like finding out about the grant, finding the company, like that was literally all him. And
you know,
so
I'm just gonna be honest with you all. Like I fantasized about this that first day that I saw her in that class at the fire department. Like, you know, I envisioned all of this happening just like this. Just kidding.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure the plan was just all laid out. Yeah.
Totally. We're gonna move out to, you know, I don't want to say in the middle of nowhere, but again, it's like 25 minutes to go to like Walmart to get groceries each way, you know, but to us, that's so normal now. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, we can walk outside and like, there's 4 houses on our road and we're all like spread out. Like we all have about the same amount of land. And so it's just like, you can just walk outside and stretch and not have to worry about like someone looking out their window looking at you.
And I've got pet turkeys. So that's the other cool thing.
And a mini donkey, also named Gizmo. So.
Okay. I didn't know about the donkey. I knew about the turkey only because I know one day, I don't know, Giz, if you remember this. One day we were on an accountability call and there was this turkey that just popped up, and everybody was like, whoa, hold on, wait. Somebody was like, are we not going to talk about the turkey that just popped up on Gizmo's screen? We're like, what was that? And he was like, well, it's turkey. And we're like, okay, bruh, where'd the turkey come from?
That's funny.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. So it's crazy. You know, certain turkeys are kind of like famous for certain things. So like, you know, there's the white turkey, Mr. Pickles, who's kind of like, you know, part of our logo. But then there's actually one of my other turkeys is famous because there's a viral video out there that's done well over 100 million views, where I was like bow hunting in my backyard, and you know, my turkeys are free range. So like she sees me in the tree stand, she flies up to me and sits in my lap in the tree stand.
And he's like recording the whole time. So like, yeah.
So Viral Hog ended up buying the video, and it's been all over. It was on Fox, NBC.
Right this minute.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Okay, I never knew that. I'm gonna have to look for that. I did not know that.
If you on Facebook, if you search like Black Turkey Hunter
or if you just Google Black Turkey
Hunter,
Hunter,
that'll come up too.
I will be the one that pops up on your screen.
Yeah. I mean, and it's so like, I mean, it's 100%. Yeah, it's so obvious it's you. And it's funny because like this happened like 2 years ago, and it'll go through the cycles where all of a sudden both of us will start getting tagged on Facebook because it's like growing in popularity again, and they're like, we're seeing it again, and like, you know, so it's yeah. So she's quite the character as well. So
that's
funny.
Awesome. I love that. I learned something new right now. I did not know that.
So let me ask, so you guys have 2 kids.
Yep.
Do they play pickleball? Are they interested?
Yeah. So I don't want to say that they have to be, but you know, that's like saying Tiger Woods' kid not wanting to play golf. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they see, I mean, that's what I do for a living. They see that I travel, you know, fairly regularly for pickleball, and you know, they do like to play. We do have the luxury of having a pickleball court at the farm, so you know, we don't have cable at the farm. You know, we're very proactive as far as that. You know, they got Netflix, obviously, and YouTube and all that stuff. But, right. You know, for the most part, like we also moved out here to kind of let our kids be kids. Like, you know, when I was growing up, it was, sun's up, get your butt up, go outside, you know, come in if you got to use the bathroom. I'll see you at lunchtime, and, you know, come in and fill your water bottle up, and I'll see you at dinner time, you know, versus, I ain't going outside today. Like, no. I can't understand that. So, you know, it's, you know, the luxury of being able to just say, hey, go outside and, you know, go play some pickleball for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they definitely enjoy it. Our son sometimes gets a little bit too big for his britches. You know, I mean, and then Jay will have to kind of bring him back down a little bit.
Well, so he sees me practice with people, and we talk trash to each other. So like he'll kind of pick up on that, and then like he'll go start playing people, and then he'll start talking trash. And the thing about the trash talk is like you got to be able to back it up if you're talking trash.
He's also 9, so it's like you got to calm down just a little bit.
Like,
so.
easy, son, easy.
That's so funny. He's like, my dad's a U.S. Open pickleball. Yeah. I can talk as much mess as I want to. Okay.
My daddy beat your daddy.
My dad will beat your dad.
And there's a couple of grown-ups that like kind of go back and forth with him, and then we're cool with them. But like, I'm like, you can't just talk like that to anybody. Like, there's just like a couple people, and when you're playing pickleball, it's fine. But like, yeah, you got to leave it at that, sir. No more.
You can see him walking through the grocery mart. It's like, yeah, you know what?
My dad'll beat your dad. What's up?
Oh, that's good.
That's funny.
Well, this is really cool because you know what? This is, you know, if you don't know what pickleball is by now, hopefully you're Googling it and you're getting, so do me a favor, everyone, Google pickleball and Gizmo, but then also look, do like I'm going to do. Go Google Black Turkey Hunter as well. As soon as we finish, that's the first thing I'm going to do.
Right. That is so funny.
You know, but so now talk to us. Exactly how long ago did you start playing pickleball?
2018. It was actually right around the time that my mother passed. So It was like I was leaving the fire department, kind of getting really serious about pickleball. My mom died, and yeah,
That was
his super catalyst of like, yo, like we all in, like we, when we are not turning back. There is no turning back. There's nothing to turn back to at this point.
Right.
An only child and losing your mom, and then essentially losing or quitting your job to chase a puff of smoke, a puff of imagination that you thought you might be able to finesse your way into. It was, yeah.
And me, for me, we're just like, he's doing what? And I'm like, yeah, he's gonna, go play pickleball. And they're like, he's doing what? I'm like, look, it doesn't have to make sense to you. It makes sense to us. We make it work. Like, again, like you said, there's no book, there's no set of rules. Nothing about us is like normal, really, with a lot of things. And it's just, and it works for us. And so it's, yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
That's all that matters.
Not gonna lie.
Isn't that how it's supposed to be, though? I mean, every relationship, I tell a lot of the couples that we work with that every marriage has its own specific DNA. Mm-hmm. Your marriage is not supposed to have the same DNA as somebody else's marriage. Just like each of us is a biological being, and my DNA is different from everyone else's in the world. And so such is the same for our relationships. And it doesn't make it better or worse, it just makes it different. Mm-hmm. And if it works for you in your house, amen. Let it do its thing. Let it breathe.
You just him right there, though. Like you just said, biologically, if we can all mentally agree that we are all different, all comprised, completely different, like how can we take something that's for somebody else and use it as our own, or like try to directly apply that to our own, like that, like it won't fit. It's like a square and a circle. Like that circle look good on that circle over there, but like if we're a square or a triangle, like it can't.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, now there might be some lessons we can learn from that circle, but
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean that all of it necessarily applies.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
See, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I hope y'all taking notes. Look, Giz and Laine are over here kicking knowledge. Oh, no. Okay, so last thing, before we go, I want to know, with all this travel, with all this stuff, well, two things. Actually, it's probably more than that. But how did you go from basically almost 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, just learning about, there's this thing called pickleball. Like before you got punked by the 70-year-old ladies into learning how to play pickleball to going to U.S. Open champion. How did that happen? That progression.
It was to the point where like when I mentally made the decision, like this is what I'm gonna do, it's like, I can't be one of those people that say I want to get better at something or want to take something serious, but don't put the time or the effort in, because then I couldn't be mad if I didn't achieve the results that I said that I wanted. So like, when I quit my job, it wasn't, all right, we're just gonna sit at home and play video games all day. It was, I'm playing 2-3 times a day, 4 or 5 days a week, driving to DC, driving to Maryland, Baltimore, Richmond, Charlottesville. I mean, anywhere within a 2-hour radius was well within, let's just jump in the car and go. If I knew that I could get, good play there. I mean, it got to the point where I'm literally Googling pickleball in my area, starting at the top and trying to figure out if I could go, what time I could go, when I could be there, how long it would take me, if I got to sit in traffic. I mean, I'm calling the senior rec centers. I'm like, yo, can I come play pickleball? And they're just like, sir, are you 55 or over? No? Click. I mean, it was.
There was this place in Maryland. It was probably about 2 hours away, but it was like closed on Sundays, but it was this like secret, high level play. You had to be invited to go. You don't talk about Fight Club. Like, I don't even know where it is, but like literally he would get up super early on a Sunday morning and be gone almost the whole day and just up there grinding. Cause like to get good play, you'd have to go a couple hours away. And if you're going to drive 2 hours to go practice, I mean, you're going to practice while you're there because you're not going to make a 4-hour trip to play for 2 hours. So I'd be like, all right, well, I'll see you when you get home. Cause like, I'm not playing like that. I mean,
you like to play.
I like to play. I like to play socially. There's so many great people that we've met. I like to go out and hit the ball and have a good time. And occasionally we'll play together and rec play if we're here, but like, that's it. We can't, no.
Yeah, we do not play together.
That is one thing that we have learned is a hard no.
Hard no.
We played in this tournament about 2 hours away. It was this little hole in the wall and he couldn't find a partner.
Just give him the short version, please.
Needless to say, we drove home for 2 hours, like not speaking. I'm one of those people, like I cry when I get upset. Like I cry if I'm happy. I cry if I just cry. So I'm like driving, just like tears,
bawling.
And he's just like, rah, and the kids are just like, oh my God, what's going on? Needless to say,
one of my finer moments.
We cannot play together. No, but I will go. I will be his biggest cheerleader. I will cheer him on. He will cheer me on when I play. And that's that. No, I mean,
I will say
to play. So
yeah.
Wait, say it again.
I said he would just drive everywhere he could possibly go to play and get good games.
Well, and I mean, even now, like, it's winter time, not winter now, but, over the winter, like for me to get any type of play in Virginia, like it's a 35 to 45 minute drive. There's a mixed skill level. There's not enough courts. There's too many people. It's a 20, 30 minute wait in between games. Or I can spend $150, $200, catch a flight to South Florida, put with my own games together with very high level players once a month to train.
Yep. It's
a no-brainer. So I do my training in South Florida now.
Like he'll literally go, he tries to line it up before a tournament, but there was like a 2-month span. There really wasn't any tournament. So like, at least once a month, twice a month, he'd go stay with friends and like grind it out the whole time he's there. Like he's getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning, not a morning person, to go play pickleball. Like, and then come home, change, get hydrated, go again. And he comes home and he's exhausted, but like the level of play and training he can get in, it's so worth him being there versus driving to Richmond and fiddling around with these other people and just, because pickleball can be kind of cliquey when you get to a certain level.
Pickleball's definitely cliquey. Don't ever let anybody tell you any different. They try to separate it from tennis. Oh, we're not snobby. Pickleball is the exact same way. I promise you. And,
dealing with that drama, I'd rather him just go, stay with friends, do what you got to do and come back.
Yeah. And that's now led to me going to the juvenile detention centers down there, painting lines on the pickleball court, now getting access from the superintendent of the juvenile detention center to, secure outside funding to build the nation's first dedicated pickleball court inside of a juvenile detention center. Juvenile detention facility. Like what? And like all from pickleball?
And they welcomed him in like with open arms, like no questions asked. Like, you want to talk to these kids? Go.
Yeah. I don't know. So, and it's crazy. And I guess I'm going in the roundabout way. You asked like, how did I get to the point of being where I'm at in pickleball? Like I'm as far as I know, the only pro that my pay is not set up based on whether I medal or not. Like I am who I am, and the people, my sponsors who support me, like they support me for the human being that I am, for the humanitarian work that I do, for just me speaking up about mental health, for me just being myself. That, I get a check every month, and I'm not, what I'm saying, like trying to toot my home, but like most pickleball players, like they get like a t-shirt deal where like they'll get, free t-shirt, a couple paddles, a couple backpacks.
You'll get 10% of every paddle you sell, that type of thing. And
it's not even about that. Like they support me and my mission and what I'm pushing to do. And like by me not having to focus on whether I'm gonna get a check this month, it literally takes my focus off of any monetary related incentives. And it's just like, all right, well, look, we can be a blessing here to the juvenile detention center while we're in town. Cool. I'm going to pull up with these kids every time I'm in town. We're going to eat with them. We're going to chop it up with them. We're going to play some pickleball. Man, if I could just save one of these kids from being a repeat offender, You know what I'm saying? I was 31. If I was 15 when I heard about pickleball, man, how much trouble could I have stayed out of? You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, man, I play pickleball for a living. Like,
Yeah.
You're
It's
doing
just,
good
it's,
work. You know,
it's
really.
because like we, again, I have my corporate job, right? And like there, some people have heard of pickleball, and I have friends on Facebook, so they see stuff and then they start talking to other people. And so like now people are randomly sending me pickleball articles when stuff's in, and like just in a magazine. So I shared it with some people and they're just like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And it's kind of gotten out, and like, it's just, and they're like, wait, your husband plays pickleball? Again, because like I'm in the corporate world. It's so different than what he does and everything he does. But when they hear about it, they get so excited. They're just like, you're doing what?
Let alone a black guy playing pickleball.
Right? That part. Well, let me tell you how crazy this is. So here, okay, so you're in Virginia. We're all the way out here in California. Giz and I have a mutual friend. And this guy, he hangs out with millionaires, and, he's doing all these different things within the community and what have you. And one day he saw some people playing. He was talking to this guy that's extremely wealthy. He was like, oh, they're playing pickleball. He's like, oh, you know about pickleball? He's like, yeah, I got a buddy that plays, and he mentions Gizmo. And this dude stopped in his tracks. He's like, wait, you know Gizmo? And, and it's funny, Terrell was explaining to the guy, like, well, yeah, he's a cool cat. And he's like, no, really, you know Gizmo? And the guy was like stuck on Giz like the rest of the day. It's funny how this sport, like I never heard of it before, coming across Jay or Gizmo through the community with ET. And now it's like everywhere I look, it's almost funny. Like now it's like I see it everywhere. He got Snooks and I, when I was doing 75 hard, we're out there. One of our workouts was, going out, get on the court. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it was on a tennis court, but trying to play pickleball. We're out there playing. Next thing you know, we're going out like almost every single weekend, every morning, going out there playing. Then all of a sudden we started seeing these couples over there playing. I'm like, wait a minute.
I was like, what y'all doing?
How are they? They're over there playing pickleball, and then we're over here playing pickleball. But it's funny, we didn't see anybody under probably the age of like 65.
Yeah, they were all nicely retired people.
Yes.
And when they saw us playing, he was like, oh, wait a minute. The guy comes over and he's talking to us about it, and Lovey's talking about you. And he was like, really? Like, he was really excited, especially I think because we were young and, like you said, they're older people. And we're like, yeah, I said, this is my first time. I never played pickleball before. I never heard of it, And he was like, yeah, if you do blah, 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 whatever. And I was kind of joking around. I said, I think my husband, he cheats though, because I don't really have all the rules. And the man was like, he probably is cheating. I said, he is cheating. But yeah, everyone gets excited, we started driving by, and we would just see couples playing pickleball. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
And, I think that what you two do as a couple stands out. I mean, being there for each other, really. And I know that you're the corporate person, Laine, and, Giz is out there, doing the pickleball world. But I know that when I was scheduling and booking this interview, Giz didn't know what was going on. Laine was handling everything.
I promise you, that's for the best. You don't want me anything related to the back office.
Any email that comes from him is usually me.
Yeah, gizmopickleball@gmail.com is not Gizmo Pickleball. It's Gizmo Pickleball's wife.
Yes. Yeah. You get him on Messenger, you'll get him. Otherwise, yeah, it's all me.
Yeah. Well, I love how both of you are living your lives on your own terms. Mm-hmm. And I won't say I hate. You guys mentioned you guys aren't normal. But I think you are the best versions in this moment of yourselves. And I think that being authentically who you were meant to be, who you were built to be by our Creator, is allowing you to have a very unique, not by the rules marriage, a unique, not by the rules farm, a unique, not by the rules life. And it's enriching. In doing that, all the people that are being introduced to pickleball, that are being introduced to the farm, that are being introduced in the detention centers to different decisions that they could be making to have better lives, all started from you two getting frisky in a firehouse. I think that's amazing.
That did not happen.
I have to say you probably hit the nail on the head, but
That did not happen.
I just wanted to see what she was gonna say first.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
No.
Oh, you guys are hilarious.
That's
No,
funny.
but I think it's beautiful. I think you guys have a wonderful marriage. I commend you both for what you're doing, for the message, for the messages, because there's a lot of them. Giving back to the community, having the 501c3, giving back to the middle schools without having to, qualify with all these different forms and cutting out the red tape, partnering with another 501c3, helping somebody else in your community, getting out there, talking to the kids, talking about mental health, and showing, that marriage is based on your individual DNA, not trying to fit that. Like, what did you say, Giz? Trying to fit a circle in a square peg?
Just ain't gonna fit, my man. But like you said, you may be able to pick up some nuggets or some pieces or what you need from that, you know what I'm saying, to fit your piece.
Listen, how can our community, the people that listen to Married into Crazy, how can they support, Gizmo Pickleball?
I would say that the best way would be to go to pickleballfarm.com. That's where we, post all pictures and anything going on at the farm. And then if they, wanted to donate, there's a donate now button. All donations are tax deductible.
Yes.
Um,
And if you want to also follow along, we are on Facebook and Instagram with Pickleball Farm. We post kind of the shenanigans of our day-to-day stuff with the kids. I mean, yesterday, our son and I were packing up eggs and got an egg that was like almost as big as like a seasoning jar. And he was like so geeked out about this and was like looking up what's the Guinness Book of World Records for like the biggest egg. So like, we try to share tidbits of like what we're doing and kind of about our life. And the stuff that we have going on, like, the animals getting out or like chasing the donkey or the goats or what, and insert shenanigan, we try to kind of post about that and share all that good stuff along the way. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Listen, y'all.
Gizmo Pickleball on any social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
And if you hit him up on social media, you'll get him. If you email gizmopickleball@gmail.com, you'll get me.
Well, look, I think you guys should get out there.
I'm sorry. So I just, before you close it out,
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to there's one question that I always want to ask every couple. So we are married into crazy, and we know that crazy is an acronym for compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding. So we always ask our couples, which is the hardest for you to do or for you to be out of the 5 acronyms? Compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, or yielding? Excuse me.
Which is the hardest? Well, you're definitely compassionate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely real.
Yes.
Count.
I mean, as far as accountable, like I don't even look at it as accountable to myself. I look at it as like what I do here, like is being accountable to other people. Like, I mean, I grow crops that I don't even eat. I don't eat tomatoes, onions, or nothing like that. But I mean, I grow them to donate. So like, I mean, I feel that other people hold me accountable as far as that. Zealous. What is that?
I was gonna say I don't know.
What is that?
Yeah. So yeah, zealous and yielding. Like what?
Well, yielding is, I mean, like we grow crops and we yield.
Yeah, but is it talking about what you do or you yourself personally?
Well, why don't you ask the client?
It's for both of you. Laine, you don't get off. You got to answer too.
No, I know.
Thank you.
Golly, I didn't know this question was going to come. I have no idea.
Well, see, zealous. Think of zealous as being enthusiastic, like because a lot of times we get very zealous. There's that zeal, right? They talk about living life with zeal, but a lot of times in marriages we're very zealous when it comes to, oh, I'm gonna point out your problem, that what you need to fix, what you need to do. Oh, remember that time you did it? can we be zealous in our marriage?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but I probably should have clarified that. Those the acronyms are not for like other people. Like, what is the hardest for you to be to each other? Compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, or yielding.
I think I would probably go with zealous for myself, to be honest.
What does that mean?
Well, the conversation after the conversation.
I'm gonna say yielding, because like every time I go on a trip, I don't ever want to yield you anything back. I don't want to bring you anything back like junk. Like it's always like, bring me something back, and I'm like, yo, like I don't want to waste $10 on a t-shirt, $30 on a t-shirt or a towel that you're not gonna wear. So like maybe I don't bring you as much stuff back from my trips that you may not necessarily get the chance to go on.
I got you. That's all I need.
Does that get me off the hook, Doc?
That get you off the hook. That'll work. That'll work.
What is
I don't know. That's such a hard question. I just, yeah. I don't know.
That's the wrong answer.
I don't know.
There's no such thing as a wrong answer. If it's sparking communication and you two are talking about it, trying to figure it out, it's a great thing, because we're all about that communication.
Our job here is done.
Oh, we're definitely going to talk about it. We are not.
Listen,
done.
hey, we love y'all. We appreciate you. We truly appreciate you making time. We know it's late back there on the East Coast compared to where we are.
Oh, I forgot. You guys are way back there.
I don't have a job. I don't set an alarm to wake up or anything, man. You know, I'm home for one more day and then I fly out to St. Louis. So I'm just gardening whenever I wake up. You're good. She has to work in the morning.
That's okay.
Look, we're going to let y'all go, but you know what? Again, thank you. And listen, we're going to go ahead and put, pickleballfarm.com, and there's going to be a link in the show notes for people to go ahead and be able to click on. But we highly encourage each and every one of you to take some time to learn more about the sport, learn about pickleball, learn about Gizmo, learn about the work that they're doing in the community, and definitely support. Yeah. So, like we always say, until the next time, be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good night.
Good night.